Hey everybody, it's Doom here from Dungeons and Doom Biscuit, and last time we made these two giant stone heads. That was actually the other night. I haven't got back down here. And now we're going to paint them up. And to paint them up, I'm just going to do a real simple paint job. I'm going to do some flocking. I'm going to do a little bit of fancy danciness. And I'm going to call it a win, because I don't want to be down here forever. This paint's kind of wet, so to make my life easier, instead of trying to take it out of the cap little by little, since I'm using a large amount, I'm going to get a paper cup. Put some in there. Okay. And I'm just going to paint this quickly. And if I don't get in every little nook and cranny, that'll be alright. Just want to get it kind of in all the nooks and crannies. I made some other ones too. This one doesn't really fit with the theme. That's okay. Now there's going to be some blow drying, and it's going to be a little loud. I want to talk about something tonight. Being the main character of your story and NPCs. Non-player characters. I'm not talking about role-playing games. You thought I was, didn't you? Now I'm talking about life, y'all. We get into this habit of forgetting that human beings are human beings. Maybe you don't, but I know I do, and I know other people that do as well. We start thinking that people are inconsequential and they're not long-term parts of our life and they don't matter. We start treating them like NPCs, don't we? Some of us. Again, if it doesn't apply, let it fly. I know someone who treats everyone like an NPC. They just don't seem to think anybody else matters. Now, I'm not that bad. I mean, some people are going to be NPCs, obviously. It'd be foolish to think that everyone you meet's a main character. You're going to meet people in life that you're just like, I don't know this person. I don't, give a shit what they're doing. That's okay, and that happens. But there are people you're going to meet that are more than just that. I'm just getting this medium gray now. I'm going to get a big old chunky paintbrush from the Dollar Tree. Makeup brush, I guess, technically. And I'm going to give it a couple different tones there with minimum effort. Get a little bit more of that paint. Now I would recommend you do a better base coat on these than I did. I half-assed it. But I promise I put 100% effort into half-assing it. The one I'm really worried about is the tinfoil one, because I didn't really put 2 coats of spray paint on it. I just kind of did it. Then we need to lighten it up. To lighten it up, my brush is already kind of cucky. I'm going to get a little bit of this country gray, using the same color I have. Worrying about mostly the high spots. And a little bit more paint. Okay. Now we can pretty much be done with that for now, but I think it would be wise. Do I have any sponges laying around? Yes and no. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to get a crappy brush and some of my homemade wash that I use all the time. And on this guy, that one, and this one only, I'm going to get some of that wash and try to get in the cracks where there might be tinfoil showing. But I'm not killing myself for putting a whole lot of effort into that. I just want to get some of that paint to sit where the tinfoil might be exposed in some of the deeper spots. Okay. And then there was a spot of pink right here. I just want to get that in there. It doesn't have to be perfect. Probably going to need to wash or dry brush these again. But all I'm doing is looking for cracks that need a little bit of attention. And I'm not trying to kill myself here. All right. I'm going to get a piece of fabric, soak up anything around the base that's too wet, dab around to pick up any big pools. Just make my life a little easier. Something like that. There's rubbing alcohol in my wash, so it always smells good. If you're a freak and like the smell, I guess. Alright, so I'm going to get some brown paint. And a chunky brush. I'm going to paint around the base. And I'm going to try not to get any up on the head if I can help it. And if I get some up there, I'm not going to cry. Something like that on each one of them. I made some of these off camera, but the painting doesn't usually take as long as the crafting, so I figured I could just paint them on camera with the others, and then you could see some different variations. Okay. And the last one here, it's got a lot of base on it. I had to use a lot of flock on this one because I didn't do a lot of thinking ahead. And that's okay. Okay. Sweet, sweet, sweet. Let's get some hot air. Now I'm going to get that same chunky brush. Nope, never mind. I threw it in the paint water. I'm going to grab another makeup brush. I'm going to paint this just a little bit lighter brown. And I'm going to add a little bit of variation to my world here. Okay. If I get a little bit on the model, that's okay. It's just going to make it a little bit interesting. I was more worried about the dark brown than I am about the light brown with the getting it up on the head. The light brown, I don't think it's going to do anything too drastic to destroy the build. We got enough decent variation there. There's going to be a lot of flock on this piece. Okay. I'd like to do one shade of lighter gray again. Don't know how that's going to turn out, but we'll try it and see. I'm just getting a doofy makeup brush. I'm getting a lot of that off there. And just hitting. Some of the sticky uppy features that might pick up that detail and make it look okay. Nothing too fancy. Okay. Let's get some flock, and I'm going to start with, well, I might as well keep that. I'm going to start with some homemade flock. This is just a green I made from sawdust. I'm going to get some clear glue. We got a prophylactic there, Sween. Okay. Then I'm just going to get a crappy plastic brush. And I'm going to get it on here. And some patches. This is a good place to cover up some mistakes. On these bigger spots where I have a little bit too much glue, I'm just tapping it down a little bit, that's all. Trying to get as much contact as possible. Something like that. These ones don't have as much exposed flat area by design. And I want to make sure I get some in this crack here where I don't like how that sits. Something like that. Just keep going around with clear glue. Oh, what the hell is that? Dip my glue brush into my flock. That's not a good plan. Not now or ever. Something like that. Then, there's a couple more little things we can do real quick. There's a color called Ivy Green. It's kind of my favorite color for this kind of thing. I'm going to get a little Ivy Green on my palette here. There we go. And I'm going to get that glue brush. I'm going to rinse that out. Get some water in it. Mix it with my Ivy Green. Get it real sloppy, thinner than soy sauce. I'm going to drag it around with some spots where I think some moss or mold might be. That's all I'm doing. Like on that nose. Any cracks that I think are just obscene. A little bit more water. Okay. And do it as much as you want to do it. Don't feel obligated to do as much as I did there. And if you think it's too thick, you can get water by itself and dab it out. It'll lay in the cracks a little darker. Okay. Now, how much effort you put into that really lays on your shoulders. On this one, I have quite a few spots I'm worried about where the tinfoil's still showing through a little bit. So I'm getting my water and I'm making it soy saucy. And I'm going to get in those spots where I see a reflection. And I'm just going to cover that up the best I can. Because I half-assed it and now I got to kind of make up for it. And that seems like it's going to do the trick. Okay, we're going to hit these with the air gun. And then do one more step. See how here I have a little bit where I just have a little bit of, like it pulled up a little bit. I'm just tapping it with my finger. Cleaning that up because I don't want it to be dried over uneasily or unevenly. Alright, that's good enough for now. I'm going to get one more color of green. This is a darker green. This is a Woodland Scenic flock that I use. You don't have to use a Woodland Scenic flock, especially if you don't have one. That makes it really tough to use. So I'm just going to get some of that glue. And I'm going to dab it in a couple spots where I think that would be useful. And I can't really see where it is. NPCs. There's ladies and gentlemen working at McDonald's who you don't even look in the face. When you say thank you, you don't look at them as a person. You look at them as an entity you're obligated to say thank you to. And if you think I'm not guilty of this, you're wrong. I do the same shit. I'm just pointing it out. Maybe if we stop treating everybody like a one-time NPC, the world might be a little better. Just a thought. No data to back up my thought either. Just an idea. Something like that. Looking for the shiny spots where that's going to stick to my clear glue. Okay. Then these need a clear coat. Now I'm going to probably leave them on the pedestals and snap my image before the clear coat. Those are pretty easy and pretty basic. You want to see a mini for scale? Here's that dude that I use the, what is this? Daimyo Elk Alchemist 406, who I use for scale all the time. So for this, the reason I wanted to do these and the reason this idea came up is my party is about to be traveling into an area where, just like how we get groups of people to go out and hunt giants, long ago, giants went out and got into groups to hunt bigger giants. And I don't want to, waylay the whole storyline, but basically the giants that were there before the giants we have now, the big giants, were artisans, and they carved stone a lot. And so these are actual statues that they made to commemorate themselves. But since there's no, I wanted to make sure there was no uniform scale so that people couldn't be like, oh, okay. And I didn't want them to all look the same. I wanted them to look like, somebody made these. Somebody without, being like a super skilled artisan. And I think that we captured that. That one looks different, but that's okay. Because he also looks like he might have been a Cyclops. And maybe some of the giants were Cyclopses. We don't know. We weren't there. But you can work that into your story, or you can not use the extra piece that you messed up on. I haven't decided how I'm going to handle it yet. But anyways, please like, subscribe, share, hit the notification bell icon, leave comments. I do like the comments. I try to answer every one of them. And thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Let me zoom in on this real quick. Boop, 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 boom. Boop, 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 boom. Boop, 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 boom. Ba-da-da-da-dum.